might as well keep the request runs rolling here. Yeah, I know. Use What You See will come up soon enough. It's just a really long run. I still need to do commentary for it. So, Hunter's Longbow. I got 2 of them immediately, and it took a little while, so there's no way I'm going to be making the time door for the first area. Ah, well, it's just a single stat and some money anyway. It's not that big of a deal. But Hunter's Longbow. Really great damage far away. I think it's a 3 times crit modifier. Okay damage up close, really low ammunition, so first mutation I'm taking is a times two stock of ammunition for weaponry. And the pulling the bowstring, shooting the actual arrow is a comparatively lengthy animation, and there is a little bit of a pause afterwards. You can negate that by doing the double hitting both weapons thing, but that doesn't really cause it to become as overpowered as like throwing knives. When you open up those doors, sometimes the stuff behind it, especially when you have a fully upgraded, is worth more money selling it than it takes to get in there, but I think that's usually more of a thing for melee weapons rather than skills. So yeah, hitting both buttons at once, you get a faster time. Instead of having that little cooldown, you just take your bow right back out and shoot another arrow. But it's not the throwing knives, it's not the incredible DPS you get out of Ice Shock when you're doing that. Which is too bad, but not terrible. Yeah, that 3 times damage modifier is not bad at all. Gonna be hitting up the sewers run again. Gonna be hitting up the sewer areas again because I never go to the sewer areas. And I think compared to most weapons, fighting the Watcher is really not too bad at all. Because you get a lot of damage on him at a distance, and with the Watcher flying all around, it's a lot easier to hit him and get the extreme damage modifier. Get the extreme critical modifier on top of that, because he'll generally be going really far away from you and not so much towards you. Also super valuable in this run, getting piercing bullets. Aside from getting the 2 times damage mutation, I think that the other one to get is Tranquility. The farther you're away, the more damage you do. Well, not the farther. If you're far away from enemies, if you're not around any enemies, you get a damage bonus, and that's obviously perfect for a weapon like this, which is at its best when it's far away from every enemy. The other thing I think to say about the Hunter's Longbow here is that I would class it as not like a main weapon. You can certainly use it as a main weapon. It's entirely... well, this run alone should prove that. I would hope so. But it's not... it's more of a supplementary weapon. It's a lot like a throwing knives. It's a lot like a Hokuto's bow in that way. I would pair it with another weapon to take out your normal enemies, and then you keep the Hunter's Longbow for killing big dudes, big enemies. And in that sort of definition, I would actually classify the Hunter's Longbow as something of a boss killer weapon. A weapon for taking out big enemies, powerful enemies, elites. Oh, speaking of which. Oh, well. Yeah, when you have 2 cells on and go immediately into the second... oh, yeah, there you go. Single hit. And that is the power of the Hunter's Longbow. Anyway, boss killer weapons. Boss killer weapons. There's a few weapons in the game that I consider boss killer weapons. Heavy crossbow, definitely, although I don't think it does as much damage as your fully powered sort of Hunter's Longbow. But the slow time and the huge amount of damage that it can potentially output, the slow usage time and the huge amount of damage it can potentially output really makes it an obvious usage for any sort of big enemy that you want huge DPS on, maybe only once. Ooh, yeah, getting a bear trap would be super nice with the Hunter's Longbow. That's a perfect way to get an enemy, to make sure an enemy is far away from you and not have to worry about them getting all up in your face when you're going for that nice, sweet critical hit. Other boss killer weapons, The lightning bolt, I don't think you would use lightning bolt to just kill normal enemies because of the big wind-up time, and it takes a little while to get into full power mode. But against like a very powerful, very high health enemy, it's much, much better. Valmont's whip, not good for fighting like anything tiny, great for fighting a boss if you can land that hit. Anything new? No. Too bad. Whatever. Maybe someday. Maybe when he appears as the 4th boss. Maybe. What else? What else? I think that might be it for the boss, at least weapons that I would kind of class as boss killers. But those are ones that, if you're looking to, if you want to one-shot and if you want to one-shot any sort of major enemy, those are ones to take. They're pretty good for that. I know that the Hunter's Longbow, especially, during a short weekend during the Brutal update, when the assassin had around 7 million health, people were taking the Hunter's Longbow, and that was the weapon of choice, the only thing that was even making a dent in her huge health pool at that time. So that's why I would consider that kind of... That's why I would consider that in that class, maybe more than anything else. And why I would be taking it if I ever get the chance before fighting a boss. So, taking Curse Chests. This is really not a great run for taking Curse Chests. And one of the major drawbacks, I'd say, with the Hunter's Longbow, you know, aside from many enemies packed into a single place where, if you don't have piercing bullets, is that you really cannot hit flying enemies at all. Like, not even a little bit. And really the only way I can deal with his bat, for example, is to let it explode, because there's no way I could possibly draw that bow in time and be able to, you know, accurately hit the very fast flying bat, which can easily just get right out of the way immediately. Oh, finally. Nice upgrade here too. A little annoying that it scales with both survival and tactics, so there's a good chance that I'm going to get survival or tactics with each one. More health, I guess, but I don't need that much health to do this. And you saw there, even Zombie doing its big jump attack didn't do that much damage to me. So I really have little plans of how to deal with, like, exploding bats, aside from wait for them to come close to me and then run away. And that's actually why I'm going to the ramparts right now, because I know that there's not going to be any exploding bats there. If I were to go to the old sewers, then that's where you get the three-pack exploding bats, and that will almost definitely kill me. Okay, maybe not almost definitely, but you know, you get hit by one of those explosions, you are stunned for quite a while, and when I'm running 2 boss cells like this, if I was running 3 boss cells, it would be a definite death sentence. No enemies over here? Kind of surprising. I guess they're waiting. Yeah, even if you don't get the critical, you can still do some decent damage with the Hunter's Longbow. And that's why even a soul 3 times modifier on the crit is still amazing. Valmont's Whip, for example, has a 6 times modifier, but it's much harder to hit with, and I don't think it has as good of base damage. And really the big thing is that it's really hard to hit with. You know, I know I just said that I wasn't going to be doing like much for curses because the chance of getting hit by any sort of flying enemy is way too high, is way too much of a possibility when I have a curse on. But taking alienation, maybe? It worked out pretty well in the throwing knives run because there were some points when because of the kind of unpredictability of when you would get the fountain heals, even on 2-cell difficulty. Ooh, nice. Another elite here. And in fact, I think this is the perfect place to shoot him. Oh yeah, there you go. Huh, didn't even need to get the crit on there to kill him. And 75% reduction in range for projectiles is absolutely perfect for this because I'm much more likely to get hit either by... Yeah, you know, I was just saying that I was going to try to avoid flying bats by going to the ramparts. I forgot about the biter zoo. Whoops. Okay, yeah, this is going to be the hardest part of the run. Okay, they still take a second to attack you, so that if I kind of predictively pull out the bow, I can probably hit them. And like I said, the base damage is good enough that, yeah, they're killing in one hit. So you just gotta predict when they're gonna come up towards you. And really, that's the best way to deal with flying biters like that, because you always know that they're going to wait just a half a second before attacking you. So that even if you're surrounded by 100 of them, they still can't just hit you immediately, even if they are all around you. With a little bit of with a little bit of foresight, it's not too bad to take them out. Yeah, Slasher's definitely not going to be dealing with because they will hit me 3 times before I can even get a single shot off of a bow. For some reason, I thought this was another little area to get into. Not a big deal, not a big deal. Unless there were another 50 biters attacking me. Oh, come on! Still not sure if I got a heal after this area. Yeah, I just want to say again, I am really happy that they put in a way to get into the Watcher fight. Right there, in fact. That door right there. And you know what? I got a decent amount of stats. Just go right now. And I'm definitely down with trying to get these runs back to being a half hour rather than a full 40 minutes, which is quite a long time for a run in this game. Yep, and that's the ideal one. No heal, but if there is one place that I know you don't get a heal, it's right before the Watcher fight. So, fighting the Watcher. I almost think the best strategy is just to sit in one area and then shoot him. It's not the perfect strategy, but against the main body, I would say that you cannot do much better than using a Hunter's Longbow. Hunter's Longbow in that part of the fight. Tentacles, not so much. Because those things are fast and numerous in the later phases. And you can't get far enough away to get a good critical off. And right there. Perfect. You just cannot get far enough away to get a good critical off when they come up from underneath you. This is another place we're having a bear trap, or any sort of immobilizing agent. Your frost blasts, your ice grenades, ice crossbow. I know would be a good one too. Man, that is really nice on the main body. Also, I was just about to say, hey, this is going perfect so far. Never mind. Also, I have no idea if it means anything, but I like the fact that the arrows have, like, big, like, metal balls on the end of it. As if to say that the real thing that's doing damage is just the concussive force you're getting out of the arrows more than, like, any sort of piercing here. There you go. Yep. Yeah, Bear Trap does give you extra damage too, unless you have the plus 175% on frozen target. Which is why I would prefer that one for this. Also, boy am I glad that I picked up that necklace that gives me 75% reduction on projectile damage. Oh, come on. Oh, this is a good time to say that commenter Red told me that one of the best ways to avoid damage from those... Wow, we went right into that. One of the best ways to avoid damage from the bullet hell attack is to just duck in the corner, especially with a shield out, which I have forgotten to talk about for so long, even though I promised him that I would do it. And although I got hit twice there, usually you can get away with only getting hit once, and if you have a shield out, even less damage taken. So it's definitely a legitimate strategy, but I generally don't like to do it because I want to try to go for the no hits at all. I think it makes for a better video. Graveyard. Ooh, this is really not a great area for the Hunter's Longbow, because especially with the 2 cells, you're going to have defenders, you're going to have foggers. If you hit one of the host zombies, they will explode into a bunch of flying corpse biters. Not flying biters, corpse biters. Flying biters are the big red ones. Oh, and tons of... Oh, wow. Whoa. Yep, and that's why I think this may actually be the worst area for the Hunter's Longbow. Hey, it's supposed to be a challenge run. Why not make it a little extra challenging here? I could also really try to get some usage out of... alienation there, which I did take, even though I'm not using that much. I said in the last run that emergency triage is probably one of the best mutations you can get, and I think that's doubly so for these challenge runs, because you can get that amazing shield on you, which is the perfect thing to block the assassin's grab attack, as well as the perfect thing to say avoid a bunch of these. I'm just going right back out, and I'm going to bait all these bats into exploding, because I'm not... If I forgot about that as I exited that door, that would have been not only death, but maybe like 5 deaths in a row. That maybe wouldn't have been a bad way to get rid of this curse. Yeah. Because there's not that much deadly stuff outside the door. I just took care of all the bats. As long as I don't kill a host zombie, and not get kicked by a catcher. That would be important too. No, that was not what I wanted to. Not a problem. It's the exact same strategy as when I was fighting the flying biters, to fight these corpse biters here. They take a second to attack you, so you don't have to. So pretty much don't freak out when you see them next to you. Only freak out if you see if you stop moving when they're next to you. Yep, I think this area is going to be grab the key immediately and get out. No checking out the repository of the architects this time. Oh God. Yeah, when you have multiple boss cells active, that's pretty much the game's cue to say, okay, throw as many of these exploding bats in here as possible. Is that like the 3rd time that I've gotten a magnetic grenade in this run? I don't know if I'm ever gonna do a magnetic grenade run. That thing has super low damage. It's really not the best for fighting something. And maybe like a showcase run. Because I'll say, oh God. Anyway, about the magnetic grenade, it does have a lot of weird properties to it, because it doesn't just pull enemies, it also pulls like cells, it pulls gold, it pulls a lot of stuff there. And it makes enemies weirdly unpredictable, and oh come on. Makes enemies really unpredictable, and if you're using like a melee weapon, you will definitely get hit. Oh wow. That was a single hit from one of the host zombies, taking out half of my health. Also, that may have been the first time that I've been hit by a host zombie since like the start of the game. They don't even have the big... Okay, I did one. I don't think it's worth it to do another one. Yeah, the host zombies don't even have like the big a lunging attack that normal zombies do, so getting hit by them, a little embarrassing. Well, at least that defender is showing me where all the enemies are. Ooh. Oh, come on. I didn't even get the kill on the fogger. Well, I'm probably not going to have to go back to that area anyway, so... Oh! I just cannot go one run without just walking into an obvious trap. Oh! Oh! Ooh! The 4 boss cell door. Tolkien would love that phrase. 4 boss cellar door. Oh, just explode already. Still don't know what that's going to be. When there's... I mean, I'll tell you right now, when there's a 4th boss, that's going to be the first thing I do. Make a beeline right for the Yeah, whatever. I don't want to deal with all those exploding bats. I'm going to make a beeline right for the cemetery. Well, I'm going to beat the boss. And then I'm going to make a beeline right for the cemetery and see what's in that door. I bet it's something... I bet it's something and not nothing. Ooh, yeah, that pulling the string, that animation for pulling the string back does take long enough that I could probably easily get hit by a catcher. He can throw out that grappling hook a lot faster than I can shoot the bow. Well, maybe not a lot faster, but fast enough. I do like that one of the things you can do with the Hunter's Longbow is just shoot all willy-nilly into places you can't even see, and you still might hit something, and if you do, you're doing way more damage than you would at any other point in time. Hey, that tranquility bonus is still worth it. Like I said, I don't need health that much. This is a questionable area to be in right now. Oh, that does... Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get a refill on the health fountain. I don't know if I'm going to get a health fountain after this, so... I didn't even realize there was a chef shop in here, food store. I don't know how often I'm going to be in the graveyard, but... Hey, at least it's good to know that there is a guaranteed one of those. Oh, and that's actually really helpful, too. Taught me off. Yeah, I don't want to go through all those spikes again. I already ran into spikes for no reason once. I don't need to do that one more time. This usually... I think the Beliar's Room thing in the graveyard usually leads to another shop. I don't remember. Ah, whatever. Just go. Oh, it's a chest. Hey, more fodder for the next shop that I come up to. Ooh, that would probably be a really nice item right now. Balance Blade has really nice quick attacks. Would pair very well with the slow but heavy attacks from the Hunter's Longbow. I really do like ranged weapons that work well with other weapons. You know, being able to get a nice ranged weapon that complements your weapon rather than, you know, being like, oh, I'm going to use one or the other. For example, yeah, finally switch this up. Get that emergency triage. It's really good. I think it'll also be very helpful here if I, say, start to take a bit of darkness damage, because then I'll be able to have a emergency way to avoid that. But yeah, I do like having a nice little complementary weapon rather than... That's one of the reasons why I always like having a shield, for example. Because you're never really going to do main attacks with your shield, except for during the Brutal update there, where it was so good to do so. But it's always nice there to have it as a backup, a nice easy way to take care of enemies like slashers. And here, I think that the Hunter's Longbow is a really nice complementary weapon, not something that, oh my god, is this like the tracker convention in here? Why are there so many of these guys? I mean, I know I'm playing this on 2 boss cells, but this is ridiculous. Also, wow, a non-critical hit, taking him down to like 1 HP. Nice. Oh god, this is the worst. Oh man, that was close. See, that emergency triage was worth every penny that I paid to reset all those mutations. Yeah, I was unsure of some of the potion mutations at first, but I think at this point they're some of my favorite. You can get some real damage and you can get some real protection out of them. And that was one of the things that I thought was missing in a lot of the mutations. Ones that weren't just, you know, giving you straight damage. Protection, healing, you know, like simple buffs. The one that gives you increased... The one that gives you increased amount of speed for the speed buff when you kill enemies. That one's great. I want to see more stuff like that. Oh god, don't get hit by those, not again. Yeah, just bait out these bats. I would be very happy if... Oh, this would be a nice place to upgrade some stuff. I would be very happy, though, if Motion Twin decided to add a few more mutations that did... You know, not just straight damage, not just take your weapon... Also, I cannot believe I didn't get anything there. Ah, well, whatever. Not just straight damage, but kind of change up the way you play the game. I want to see more stuff like I want to see more stuff like alienation. I want to see more stuff like emergency triage. The food one. And that was one of the biggest things that they added to when it came to the beta version of the Foundry update versus the alpha. I still think that more than anything else in the Foundry update, mutations are my favorite thing here. It is a really nice... It's a really nice way to change up the game and give you some more choices in what you can do. It goes along... It goes along with that philosophy that they had with the Brutal update, where they wanted to make stats more meaningful and not just take strength for damage, take strength for damage, take health for health. And then also tactics if you feel like it. And the only real issue I have with mutations, at least right now, is the cooldown 1-4 tactics is so much better than like all of the other tactics mutations. Like, the only reason you wouldn't take it is if you were taking no skills, period. Like these stupid challenge runs. And that's more of a something for me, but maybe not the most universally... Maybe not the most universally appropriate way of thinking about game design. How am I going to play this game? I'll probably talk a little bit more about like the Foundry updates, the Foundry update, and especially the Forge and upgrading weapons when I finally do that Use What You See run. Because I still got it rolling around in my head, but I got some ideas of like what I could let's just say stuff related to that. Oh, I hate those bats so much. Now there is one more shop in here, and it's what, a 50-50 shot that it's going to be a weapon shop here. Yeah, if I had that host zombie doing half of my health when he hit me once, I don't even want to try to get hit by one of these trackers even a single time. That could just kill me. Probably to the left from here. I don't see any other area on that map where the key could possibly be. Oh, nice. Even got the stun on the meat grinder there. That's what I was talking about, where that bat can just move right out of the way, even if you do have an arrow aimed directly at him. Oh god, there are so many spinners here. Okay, that worked. Hey, that dodging worked out well. And exactly like I thought, key was right there. Ooh, there's the Beliar's Rune right there. And I think that'll lead to another shop. This might just be a cursed chest, and you know what? I don't care. I'm not going to take another cursed chest right now. I don't even have alienation anymore. And now it just sells. Whatever, just finish this up already. I'm already, what, 23 minutes on the timer? Usually that equates to, usually like 20 minutes on the timer equates to about 30 minutes. 30 minutes total. That backwards shooting arrow, I've gotten so much use out of that backwards shooting arrow, despite the fact that it makes... There's no real reason that... Yep. Nope, not getting killed by that spinner. Not today. But yeah, that backwards shooting arrow does not get the critical hits or anything off of that. And yet, I'm still using it just as effectively as sometimes shooting an enemy. Okay, one hit. Yes! One hit. That's how you take care of that mini-boss. Boss killer. So I'm going to make a judgment call right now. Assassin's not even going to stand a chance. I got that whole double button pushing strategy. And the second that she tries to fall back and start shooting me with a bunch of shurikens is going to be her end. Let's take a look. Okay, not quite far enough. Assassin. Yeah, the initial hit, she's going to run up, try to do a melee attack. But now, here we go. Nice damage. Okay, a little bit farther away. Come on, just warp away. Yeah. Okay, if I get like 2 solid hits off while she's doing the spinny circle there. 360 no scope. Good enough. Whatever, I still have that 75% reduction necklace on. All right. That was pretty much exactly how I expected it to go. If I did grab that bear trap earlier, it may have been even quicker because I just locked her down when she went in for a melee attack and then just shot her up probably for more than half of her health in that one go. But yeah, Hunter's Longbow. Great weapon. Maybe not super great by itself, but pretty great.